Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, marks and smarks alike, we proudly welcome you to the internet's only wrestling podcast. That's right, we are the only one. We want to welcome you to Pin the Champ! Welcome back, guys, to a special edition of Pin the Champ. This is our first ever viewer request show, and I got Song.
What up?
Sawyer. Woo woo. Got to take a moment here to mention that Song's got some awesome patriotic garb on. He's sporting the Stars and Stripes.
Everybody
got a bandana.
Song.
Are we saluting Song?
Yeah,
We're saluting Song.
He's even got like a WrestleMania 7 background. Hogan is to the right of him and Slaughter to the left.
Nice job, Song.
You confused me with Sawyer.
Yeah, you did Sawyer.
Wait, what happened?
You said Song.
You were doing
Song.
a very sweet gesture, and I was like, I guess you really like Song's Patriots hat more than mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
Father, love me.
everything that I said, except it's Sawyer. Sawyer's doing it.
You're good.
Song didn't put any effort into shit.
No effort.
He is wearing a Patriots hat.
He
Which
is wearing a
kind
Patriots hat, so I was like, oh, he's doing a pun.
But no pants. He's got no pants on.
No
though.
pants.
I
I never
just
wear
like
pants.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You do need some of
I
the
leave
Rex.
Brady out of this.
Yeah, you need the Rex Kwando pants on with that.
Oh yeah.
And of course, we got Kyle over to my bottom right here. What up, dude?
Technically in my screen, I'm next to you.
Yeah, right. I mean, it all depends on your perspective.
Like
so,
if you put your hand up like this real quick, just go
wait.
like other side. Boom. Oh yeah. No, other side. Other side. Boom. We're high fiving.
yes, on your screen.
You guys can't see it because this is an audio medium, but
Yes.
we were just high fiving
Yeah,
via
it's awesome.
It worked flawlessly too.
It was
So-
totally worth a minute or a half.
That's the beauty of not being shown. You'd be like, you guys should have seen it. It was off the hook.
Yeah, it was so cool. How's your week been, guys?
It's been a long
It's
one.
all right. Yeah, I mean it's getting to be spring. It was really nice this week, which is like really great. The weather was super good.
Yes, it's got everybody, wanting to get outside and plan vacations and everything. So it is very nice. My mom said it's like 98 degrees in Florida today. So
Oh my god, I want to be in Florida.
Oh,
right.
guess where I'm going in a couple of weeks?
yeah, you gonna go see my mom's song?
I'm going down to Florida.
Yeah.
That's why he's going to see your mom.
Go hang out with your mom.
Oh,
Talk some wrestling.
before we get
Yeah.
started with what we're going to be talking about today, Sawyer, you had mentioned shouting out for one of your pals who gave us that Ric Flair question last week.
Oh, this is actually one of Song's friends.
Oh, Song's
I
friend.
believe. I think so, right?
Jesus.
He's one of your friends,
Yeah,
right?
my buddy.
I'm
Kevin,
getting
to your point.
I'm getting
Yeah.
everything.
Who knows
man.
this guy? Who
Yeah.
knows this guy?
Yeah, no,
well,
he's,
Song
he's-
basically raised me as my babysitter, so it's
This is one of your dad's friends.
Song.
yeah.
Tell us about
Oh,
your
but I
pal.
did spot on there. Is it Kevin Pierpoint?
Pierpont,
Pont?
yeah.
Pierpont.
Yep,
Ah,
Pierpont.
there you go. All right, so he's got a trivia question. He said, when did the original Four Horsemen stable form, and who were the members other than Flair? He said, no Googling. You cheaters.
Okay. No Googling.
Was it 80? It's 83 or 84.
So it's Flair, Anderson, Ole,
yeah,
and Arn,
Tully
right?
Blanchard.
No, Tully Blanchard.
Blanchard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Anderson Square and Blanchard. That's it.
Right.
yeah.
Do we want to pose it to our audience and check in next week with the
Yeah,
answer?
and then we could
We
check in
just
next week.
answered it, though.
We won't Google it, okay, until after the show. or
Yeah, we
anything
can't
like that.
Google it, so
We
we don't
can't
know what
Google
the
it.
right answer is.
We don't know. So,
I don't know what you're talking about. I can Google whatever I
so
want.
I guess our official answer is Flair, Ole Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and
Arn Anderson.
and Arn Anderson.
I
And
think it
he
was
also
B.
asked.
Arthur, Betty White, and Blanche, and the really old one.
That is the original Horseman.
I really thought I could. Rue McClanahan. I knew I could name at least 3 out of 4.
Look at you and your Golden Girl knowledge.
We're starting a spin-off podcast about the
Yeah.
Golden Girls. It's
Started
called
the
Eating
same
Cheesecake.
year in 1986. It's 86 or 84. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
What? Who? What?
I'm gonna go 86. I said
86
84
sounds
earlier,
right
but
to
I
me.
think it's 86.
86. I can go with 86. I don't know for sure. But I know you're looking on Google right now. I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm doing. I'm googling.
Yeah.
I
So
thought you were still talking
again,
Golden Girls
it
for
was-
a second.
Song. What was your friend's name? You said
Kevin Pierpoint.
Kevin Pierpoint. Thank you very much for that question. Yeah, we want to ask what y'all's opinion without Googling. Who were the original Horsemen and what year were they formed? Right? You
Actually,
said
I know
no.
my-
no.
Yes.
My favorite,
Yeah, no,
my
it's
favorite
not.
iteration was
Not the
the
right
one with
question.
Chris Benoit.
See now I'm doubting. I'm
Now that he's
84 or
Yahooing
86. I don't know which. One of the two.
80
You
what or
said no
86?
Google, you can still Bing it, which uses the same.
Oh,
Code is
perfect.
Google.
Bing. Let's
Yeah.
go.
We also know it's not a horseman
Bing.
without flair. It's not.
I like my favorite horseman would be Mongo McMichael.
Oh God, mine would be Paul Roma.
Oh man.
Nice.
All right.
I did like the Chris Benoit era, despite the fact that he's a murderer.
Yeah. Today we're gonna do something a little different. I thought that was a
And
great
on that
segue.
note,
On that, today we're gonna do something a little bit different. Normally we'd be doing the next Monday Night Raw episode from back in '93. But instead, we actually had a special request from a listener named Nick Apolewski. Hopefully, I didn't butcher that. To review WrestleMania 7, which is one of his favorites. So he would like us to give a shout out to his iPad and his cell phone. So we're going to go ahead and toast now to our friend Nick Apolewski, our very first viewer request show. Thank you, Nick. Cheers, guys.
To you, Nick.
To you, Nick.
To you.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, man. Thank you for your request. I did also want to mention that a lot of my actual research was from What Culture. So I wanted to shout out What Culture because a lot of what I referenced was What Culture this week. So guys,
They're our source for this pod.
Yeah, they're one of our sources. I've got a couple of other mentions throughout, but yeah.
Sweet.
So this Mania takes place on March 24th, 1991. And so for reference to what we're normally doing, this is about 2 years before Monday Night Raw begins, what we're reviewing right now. This Mania is very unique in the way that it's pretty much the height or maybe the height of the back end of the Gulf War, right? So that's the reason why when you turn this show on, there's like an ultra patriotic tone for the whole show, and that's why right now Sawyer's wearing the American flag around his head,
Like a true patriot.
like a true patriot. Yeah.
That's all I got. I'm not gonna hum the whole.
So, according to What Culture, like I mentioned before, slow ticket sales, not a bomb threat as rumored, caused the location to be moved from Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum to the Los Angeles Sports Arena. Sergeant Slaughter did get threats to his family, but the real reason for the move from one place to another was from what I understand, ticket sales.
Oh shit!
Right.
So was that like the Fed being like, "Oh yeah, bomb threat. It's such a hot ticket that
Right.
people."
It's probably them just working.
They're such fucking carnies. Like I love it.
Totally.
I love like the hick nature of like as like a white trash Southerner. It really makes me happy to see that like wrestling still has. Like, and it never will not have like this, like,
carny,
like looking for the mark, like kind of skullduggery type of like just like I love it. I love like nothing is above board. Everything is like nothing is off limits. They will exploit anything and everything, and like I hate it, but I love it. Like as like somebody who's just like true. For me, like I think comedy lives in dedication, like dedication to the bit. And so like the WWE,
Nobody is more like the show must go on.
They're just like, fuck it. We'll
Right.
this person just died. Yeah, let's talk about them being in hell.
Yeah.
Well, it's also great too because we grew up in a generation where kids, there was always that old urban legend of like, oh, if you call in a bomb threat, you can get out of taking your test and stuff. You know, like that was always
that was not an urban legend at my high school. People
well, that's
did
the
that
thing
shit.
is I think everybody was kind of, you know, but that was back in a time where it like didn't mean anything to us. Like who's gonna call in a bomb threat? But after 9/11, like we're not doing that shit anymore.
Well, now that cell phones, like now that like everybody can be tracked through, like, and I'm not gonna, you know, rant on like, you know, whatever, but like, I think the thing was like back then, you know, calling from a payphone is what stopped the cops from noticing you. You know, like you could call from a payphone and they'd be like, well, we have no way of knowing where they're calling from.
Yeah.
But nowadays they can be like, oh, they called from this time and we have video camera evidence of them scratching their nutsack at this time, and you know, so it's just like, you know, it's
we are 20 years past 9/11, so that does make it the point where it's not as like you know what I mean? Because I feel like after 9/11, people like I ain't even joking about like that was the year everybody's like we're all patriots.
That's
stuff.
true. Right. Yeah, that's exactly why this had such an over the top, you know, patriotic tone to it. The opening video package with Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan, which actually is a part of it, is your background, I believe, was so cheesy. It had the laser beam sounds, and it was just like prime early '90s like WWE foolishness. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
Yeah.
This
was a
like
build up to the
time viewing time too, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it was for an older Mania. It was a long one, right?
It was 3 hours,
Yeah.
3.5, I believe.
Right.
But the build up to this main event had, you know, there was no story build up to this at all. It was like Slaughter, you know, Sergeant Slaughter won the belt, and then like Woody celebrated by he did something with the American flag, right? And
well, he
that's all
actually did it. I thought I remembered him doing something with the American flag, but I think it actually ended up being the.
It was Hacksaw Jim with the came in with the like Yankee Doodle Dandy get up or whatever, wasn't it?
Well,
because he burned Hogan's shirt. You know,
Hogan wasn't in the like title picture at all, like leading up to this event.
Hogan is always in the title picture if he's in WWE, though.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Warrior just lost that title
to Slaughter because Savage, I think, interfered or something like that. Yeah.
Which, you know, Hogan had nothing to do with, but Hogan being who he is, I'm sure he politics himself into a main event picture in Mania. But you know, it's like it made no sense. So
all the little Hulkamaniacs still call him Champ Song.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you have in one corner Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter, who else?
G.I. Joe character Sergeant Slaughter
turned Iraqi sympathizer.
Right.
Who else but, you know, Star Stripes and Big Yellow, you know.
No one could defeat him.
You know.
But the Hulkster.
Like,
yeah.
I was 4 years old when this happened, and I vividly remember this.
Me too.
Like, I was a huge G.I. Joe mark. I had all the G.I. Joe toys. I was a huge Sergeant Slaughter mark.
Well, the funny thing about Sergeant Slaughter is he was ripe for being a cartoon character on that show. Like, if you didn't know him as a wrestler, you'd be like, oh, that's just a cartoon.
You knew him from G.I.
Like,
Joe
oh
anyway.
my God, the man looks exactly like his character.
So So who came first, the wrestler or the cartoon?
The cartoon,
the wrestler.
The wrestler. Like, they were like, oh, let's do a promotion.
Yeah.
I believe it started when he was in AWA with Vern Gagne.
Yeah, he had some really famous matches with Pat Patterson, which were really brutal, actually. Yeah.
Right.
Plus, to me, a 4-year-old kid, they're one and the same. You know what I mean? That's like I see commercials with Michael Jordan hanging out with like Bugs Bunny. So it's like, as far as I'm concerned, be like, well, yeah, you tell me you can see Mickey Mouse in Disney World. Why wouldn't a cartoon G.I. Joe be like competing in a real life wrestling match? You know, like.
I was.
Not
I
only
was.
that,
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I was a pretty big Sergeant Slaughter mark as well, dude, because I actually took my UPC symbols off of the G.I. Joe cereal that was out at the time and sent them in for the G.I. Joe or the Sergeant Slaughter character that you could only get by mail. It was amazing. I loved it.
Oh yeah, the box top shit.
Yep.
I remember. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Like what a great era when we could mail away for toys. Like you could and I know I harped earlier on about like technology and shit, so I'm not gonna do it again. But man, weren't catalogs cool?
We should bring
Wasn't
that back
cool
somehow.
To look in the Sears catalog and look at all the toys and shit.
Oh,
that was cool.
That was cool. You know what else was cool? Willie Nelson singing the America the Beautiful.
I thought of you, brother, when that happened.
Yeah.
It's like Maya's a big Willie fan.
Here at Pin the Champ, we are Willie Nelson fans. So if Willie Nelson is a wrestling fan, like I'm sure that he is, it's gotta be, right? You know.
Did you see the belt he was wearing?
Oh,
yeah,
no,
it was like a toy belt, but it was like a real belt. He looked cool as shit.
He had the first spinner.
Dude, you know,
Willie's always cool.
Willie.
How would you like to be a fly on the wall backstage where it's all the wrestlers probably being giddy being around him? Because I feel like he's the legend to them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh,
given how many Southerners.
He was looking great. He had the Hogan bandana on, the Hitman glasses on.
Well, you know that he, I'm pretty sure he did a bunch of stuff down with the Von Erichs back in the day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because down Texas way.
Oh, okay. Because down Texas way.
Down Texas way. But, God, it's just rarely do they pick somebody. Most of the time they pick terrible fucking people to sing America the Beautiful.
Right.
Wasn't it like Boys to Men on the first episode we watched? Or was it like one of the knockoff
Boys to Men is done.
I remember it being an odd choice.
Dude.
Yeah.
Willie did this one without any instrument, right? It was all just his vocals.
It was just him.
Yeah.
Acapella.
Because Willie just needs a stage, man. Give him a stage and mic. He's good.
Yeah. Even to this day, like if there's a show and there's a bunch of other bands and Willie's on the marquee, he's still going to headline it. He's still going to headline it.
That's right. He's a legend. So after that beautiful rendition, we get Gorilla Monsoon. He welcomes us to WrestleMania 7. He then invites Hacksaw Jim out to commentate. Hacksaw's dressed like Drunkle Sam or something.
He was full on Yankee Doodle Dandy, and I love it.
He was.
It was
Yankee Doodle
2x4 was decked out too.
Gorilla
Kyle and I once saw Yankee Doodle Dandy in like a historical theater, the Music Box in Chicago, and it's a long movie, especially in those seats. But it immediately reminded me of that scene with Hacksaw Jim. It's too good.
I just wonder how much of the old nose candy he was doing, because it's just like just that level of energy is just
2x4 sized one, sir.
Man, just do it. That's what the 2x4 was for, is just doing lines off the fucking 2x4. Like, it. I will say though, he handles that 2x4 the way I've seen like baton twirlers at parades and shit handle baton. Yeah. He can like.
I wonder if he has a history in ballet.
Up in the air. Yeah, he's a majorette.
Yeah, exactly.
He worked at one of those cell phone store, like sign tosser.
Yeah, he was.
So Gorilla Monsoon announces the career-threatening match between the Ultimate Warrior and Savage.
Y'all can't see it, but I'm doing an incredible impression of one of those sign guys.
This is true. It's one of those commercials that's been on lately. You think my arms are getting bigger?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Gorilla talks about the career-threatening match between Warrior and Savage, and then he announces the main event between Hogan and Slaughter. He then kicks it back to Sean Mooney, who's with the Rockers. They cut a promo against their opponents, Haku and Barbarian. Then we get the match. The Rockers versus Haku and Barbarian is the first match of WrestleMania tonight.
Whoa. It's not the first match. There was a dark match that was not televised. Coco Beware
I don't
beat
like your
the
tone, sir.
Brooklyn Brothers. Well, you just gotta deal with that.
No one puts the
Birdman.
Birdman in the corner. No one puts the Birdman in the corner when songs on the pod, baby.
Songs given the business, as we know.
I do. I give the business. Yeah. So dark match. Coco Beware beat Brooklyn Brawler. That's all I wanted to add.
Nice.
Okay.
You can
Coco,
continue.
hey, honestly, to Song's point, it's like we were saying earlier. Coco's always getting swept under the mat, and it's not fair.
Oh.
You better Coco beware leaving him out if Song's around.
Exactly. That's his favorite dude.
High energy, man.
Hey, Brooklyn Brawler is a legend.
He's a professional. He does what he does.
He was.
He does it well.
Hey, he was a legend. Like a jobber legend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you got to do
He's also
something, it's steady
Kim Chi.
work.
He's also Kim Chi.
Oh, that's correct. He was kimchi. He probably played other. I'm sure he played other roles as well. Maybe
he was
Doink.
He was the baseball
MVP,
guy.
the original MVP.
No, the guy who painted himself like
with the baseball face.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a consistent losing jobber for a long time, you can't really fail. You know what I mean? At that point,
Right.
it's like you got nothing. There's no pressure on you to
Look.
win. You can only go up.
It's a paycheck, right?
That's
So-
if it were so, I'd take it. Why not?
He's got to be the most famous jobber out there. Everybody knows
I
the
think
Brooklyn
so.
Brawler.
I
right?
think he's right up there.
I literally think once an episode we bring up the Brooklyn Brawler and like he's pretty famous, right? Everybody knows who the Brooklyn Brawler is.
But we already have a running gimmick with Glenn.
Glenn
Ruth.
Yeah.
This is a Glenn Ruth podcast.
It's Glenn
Yeah,
Ruth
baby.
and also the Brooklyn
Apparently,
Brawler.
we're just a jobber podcast
Jobber
at this
Yeah,
point.
we love our jobbers here, baby.
Yes.
I always say we
So-
should call it jabber.
So this is animal pelt loincloth era barbarian, not face paint era barbarian. These rocker tights were bad, but they weren't as bad as the white and black Marty Jannetty tights from Raw that we already talked about.
Yeah.
Didn't Barbarian have the Loki horns too?
Yes.
I
he does.
dug those horns. I thought that was really dope.
Match of the night, in my opinion. Like best match.
Yeah.
Kyle turned it off. He's like, it didn't
I
get
did.
any
I
better
watched
than
it. I was like, oh, well, it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
Cut it
Yep.
off.
Kyle watched
3.5
that and that was done.
hours?
3 hours?
Yeah, 3 hours? No. Why would you start with the best?
This is something they did a lot at this time, was putting the rockers on the opening match because they were considered kind of a high flyers to kind of get the crowd
Right.
pumped up. This actually ends up being the Rockers' last Mania appearance together. So
Honestly, I'm kidding, but I'm also not kidding when I say match of the night. I do think that there are some incredible spots from the Rockers. The double super kick in particular.
yeah.
The double kip up too.
yeah, the double kip up two
yeah.
super
Like,
kick, right?
Honestly, anybody who can do a kip up, I'm just like really impressed because the amount of core strength that requires. Ugh. But
I would rage
Barbarian
to say
is
that I
so
cannot do a
fucking
kip up.
big.
Yeah,
Barbarian
Yeah,
looks
he-
like a wrestler should, in my opinion. Haku, just a good worker. But two really solid big guy workers. I mean, Barb is one of the Samoans. So is Haku.
Mhm.
They're just huge badasses in real life, and I like them. I like them a lot.
One of the things that I love about Haku is if you ever have a spare moment, just look up Haku stories online. He's
yeah.
supposed to be legit one of the toughest guys out there. Nobody would mess with Haku.
He bit somebody's ear off in a fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
He broke out of handcuffs. He broke
did
the
he?
handcuffs.
I
Yeah,
didn't know,
the
yeah.
police. It's
Watch out, boss man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's automatically going to win against Boss Man just for that fact.
Haku is the Chuck Norris of wrestling, huh?
Who's also on this show.
Oh,
Yes.
dude, I kept a tally
won't-
of some dated references.
Yeah, definitely. So after Rockers versus Haku and Barry, where Rockers won when Michaels pinned Haku after their little high flying finisher they have at the end.
Right.
After that, it was Mean Gene. He introduced Regis Philbin, who was afraid of Earthquake.
Regis.
Another very dated celebrity, like still doing well, but very, very.
No, Regis has passed
dead.
away. He's not
dead.
doing
Yeah.
well.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
geez.
right. Well, hey, look, man. You know.
Who can say these days though? Everybody's dead.
Favorite moment of my show so far.
Trebek was on it too, who just passed
Yeah.
away.
Yes, yes,
That's
Oh.
crazy. Yeah.
yes.
What is Alex Trebek?
Also, Marla Maples, who's the locker room reporter and timekeeper for the main event. And finally, like you said, Alex Trebek, who confuses Mean Gene with Jeopardy rules. Next, they go back out to the ringside for Dino Bravo versus the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. In the beginning of the match, Bravo attacks Kerry, who can't even get his robe off. This is a very short match with Kerry winning with a claw, followed by the spinning tornado for the pin. When I think about this match, what amazes me is that at this time, Kerry had 1 foot. You know, he was doing all that on 1 foot.
Fucking foot.
So what was the situation now? What was the
He
story
had a
there?
wooden foot. He had a motorcycle wreck,
Oh.
I believe, that forced him to amputate one of his feet.
Wow.
It's no parasailing accident, but you know.
Well,
Yeah, you know that old saying. Kerry Von Erich's no Brutus Beefcake.
He's no Brutus Beefcake, baby.
oh man, and then it gets dark because Kerry eventually outdid that.
Oh, does he really? Oh man, I'm 2 for 2 today.
Yeah, dude. yeah. He eventually kills himself.
Do people die because I talk about them? Because
he eventually killed
right
himself
now.
because you said you talked shit about him.
Knock on wood. We already brought up Willie.
Good Lord. We're editing out this whole segment.
Yeah.
This is
Undertaker, please spare him.
Oh, so after the Dino Bravo, Kerry defeats Dino Bravo, we go back to Sean Mooney, and he's with Warlord and Slick. This is Destro Warlord, by the way, with the Silver Phantom of the Opera mask, and he's trying to fight the British Bulldog.
And he's got the W. Did you say British Bulldog?
Yeah, he said British Bulldog.
Because when he's taking notes, he kept accidentally typing Bulldog.
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 Warlord's also got the W staff, which is like some sort of cool, like Lord Zed type shit.
Which you could literally stab somebody to death with.
Oh my God, yes.
We'll do with the metal mask. I immediately thought of that thing. Have you guys seen Mike and Dave Need Dates for like that wedding one with like Zac Efron and the dude from Workaholics or whatever?
I don't think I've seen it.
I think I did.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those like Comedy Central midday watches. Like you're not going out of your way to see it, but you're like, it's on. Well, she gets like hit with an ATV like across her face before her wedding. So they make up this like fake dance where they're like, do the Jenny, and then like you just like cover up one side of your face. So like I was thinking about that when they had Warlord's match.
So Slick was really cool. You had something?
Oh, I was gonna say that additionally, this was the first WrestleMania without our dear friend of the pod, Governor Jesse Ventura.
Oh, I didn't know that was the first one.
Without. Yeah, he's not color commentating. He's
just literally started his political career.
Open the doors. I need the 9/11 secrets.
We need to get him on this show. No, just kidding.
Oh my God, I would flip my lid.
So I thought Slick was cool tonight with his canine related puns. He's like, "It's a doggy world, dog, baby." I'm gonna be in the doghouse tonight because I'm gonna feed you Alpo, figuratively.
Slick is every reason you need more managers in the scene. You just need people that are just coming out doing this kind of shit. It's the best.
That's something about this show, though, man. It made you realize how important managers are in this industry, man. Every single, like, you had Sherry on the show, Slick, and Jimmy Hart. They did double duties.
That's a great point, Song. Yeah, that's something that is severely missing from the current product. And what's crazy is how many opportunities it would open up for so many legends that can't really go in the ring, but could really add a fantastic mouthpiece,
And there's so many current superstars that I think should be given a microphone. They would benefit from a manager.
You guys are really gonna love my Kyle question answer today,
Uh,
based
yeah,
on everything
it's a-
we've just discussed, literally in the
Well,
last
that's
10
for
minutes.
next week.
Oh, that's for next week. We're
Oh,
gonna
for
save
next-
that for
well,
next
still.
week. Yeah,
Hey, I
this
never
is
said it
gonna
was
definitely a
today.
lost art.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, one thing I will say is that the Fed was on the right side of history for once, portraying the Queen of England as a fan of the heel.
Oh, yeah.
She is, history's greatest villain,
Yeah.
and then also a supporter of the warlord
Yep.
over her own British bulldog.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Also, I love that whole Heenan shtick.
There's
It's
no
fantastic.
bull. in
Oh,
this
yeah.
dog.
We before we actually even get to the match, we go over to Mean Gene, and he's with Davey Boy Smith and Winston the Bulldog. They go over a couple more dog-related puns before we go to the match, but then the actual match, Davey Boy Smith versus Warlord, for two muscular guys, I felt like this was the first actual exciting back and forth match. I loved it when Warlord hung Davey over the rope. He also had a good-looking belly-to-back suplex. Warlord put Davey at one point in a full Nelson, which almost puts Bulldog to sleep, but Davey finds his way out to reverse a body slam from Warlord into his own power slam for the pin and the victory.
I like how the commentator was selling these two guys. I missed those, where they actually sell the superstar as being legit. They were really talking up the full Nelson about how nobody's been able to break from it. And then even when Bulldog break from it, they gave him a loophole why he broke from it, because he kept Monsoon kept on mentioning his fingers aren't locked. His fingers aren't locked. So breakout, they gave him a loophole for why it was broken at that point in time, which you don't see anymore these days.
They do it from time to time, but it's
challenge.
What's that?
What's that?
Do you remember the Chris Masters Master Lock Challenge?
Yeah. I do remember.
Yeah.
What this is, but this is pre that, and I think they did a really good job of selling how this is a hold that no one can escape from. This is an unbreakable hold, and you look at Warlord and you're just like, I could believe that. Even a guy like British Bulldog, who is at this point, I would say, the roidiest of his roidness.
Right.
He is just he looks huge. And
I mean, the full Nelson is a move I've never taken seriously in wrestling, because it looks like it's not much, just put your finger down, wave him. But I mean, Warlord, and then currently Bobby Lashley has been able to sell me on that move.
I like it.
He's very violently just
that's what I like about
swinging
it.
his opponent. So it looks like, that's gonna.
Yeah,
hurt.
you're just when you watch Lashley just wiggle somebody around. He's kind of like an alligator when they get you in that death roll.
I love it. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's very true.
I thought this was a pretty decent big guy match. Once again, they're going hard. It looks like I would definitely say some shots. It looks like they were just throwing
haymakers.
Yeah. They were into it. It was the first match that I was like, oh, okay, they're bringing it. They're like, all right, we're gonna do something with this match. And what's crazy is I don't know if this was the first one, but obviously somebody liked what they saw, because Bulldog and Warlord faced each other in all 5 pay-per-views in 1991.
Oh wow!
That's that was another thing that got referenced during my research there.
Really?
Yeah, I don't recall it though. Are you gonna check this facts?
No, I believe it. I just don't.
I don't remember it.
I don't remember it at all. Which I don't know if it speaks to the quality of the matches, or if I was just not into the mid card at this time, because it was just
or just not connecting the fact that they're fighting over and over again or whatever. It might not have been on our map. But I thought that was pretty cool though. I'm not sure. That's at least the research that I did said they faced off in 5 pay-per-views.
No, I believe
I want to check it now though. Next up, Mean Gene is with the Nasty Boys and Jimmy Hart. While the Hart Foundation is with Sean Sean Mooney, and they each cut a promo on each other. And then they go right out to the match, Nasty Boys versus Hart Foundation. These are my guys, the Hart Foundation.
They show Macaulay Culkin in the audience, but I don't even think Monsoon realized who it was because he was like, "Look at that lad out in the audience."
Someone said he's someone's kid, and I don't know, but look at him, folks.
Yeah.
I thought he's the
indescribable podcast is what he is.
Oh, Monsoon made a Home Alone pun?
Yeah, they did make a Home Alone pun. It's
Yeah.
like that kid would much rather be here than being home alone. So I guess they knew who he
Oh
was.
man,
Oh, okay.
the gold.
It was that.
Gold.
God.
I always love these matches where Jimmy Hart was on the team opposing the Hart Foundation. Because since Jimmy Hart was,
Jimmy Hart's been out this show, right? Second time he's been.
he comes out a lot here. He's
Yeah.
managing a lot of people.
He's getting a very good paycheck.
Yeah, but Jimmy Hart was the manager for the Hart Foundation for the longest time, so it was kind of an interesting dynamic to see, him against the Hart Foundation.
It was kind of like when Demolition turned face and
against Fuji,
left Mr. Fuji. Yeah.
and Powers of Pain came on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this match, the early offense, it's classic. It's why the Hart Foundation was one of my favorite teams, well, really my favorite team. There is a missed tag between Brett and the Anvil at some point, which allows the Nasty Boys to try to hit Brett with a megaphone. But at this point, Brett actually ducks that, so Knobs hits Sags with it. There's also some classic Anvil in this match as well, lariats and power slams. The end of the match saw Sags hit Anvil with a motorcycle helmet Jimmy Hart was wearing while the ref had his back turned, trying to get Brett out of the ring after the Hart Foundation performed the heart attack. Knobs ended up pinning Anvil after he was hit by the motorcycle helmet.
Okay.
Always a sad day when the Hart Foundation loses the belt, but you got to keep it fresh. I think it was a good match. They brought Nasties to a good match.
Well, and this
It
is
was
right.
a good match. This was also the last time the Hart Foundation had.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Correct.
this is the beginning because I did my
Correct.
homework on this one too.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of what
Bret
we're
Hart.
now seeing, where we're at the current with the Raw, where he's 2 years deep doing this kind of like
Solo Brett, baby. Also,
Yeah.
Jim Neinhart leaves the Fed for about a year and a half.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I've never found the Nasty Boys to be like tough looking.
I remember you mentioning
this
you weren't
is-
the biggest Nasties fan.
No, this is the only match that I will ever say that they look like they're in good enough shape that I would be like, oh, I think they could beat me up.
Yeah.
Like generally speaking, most of the time, I think I could beat the shit out of the Nasty Boys. And I don't mean that in a like, I mean, I'm a big guy, but like I don't mean that in a way like I'm sure they are better trained wrestlers than I am. I'm just saying they don't look
They just don't look
tough.
intimidating, right?
They don't look intimidating. They don't look like Bret Hart. Like he's like maybe a foot shorter than me, but he could probably kick my ass.
Oh yeah.
Like and like not now, but like same with fucking Anvil.
You don't think he could now?
No.
He can't do anything now. You
I
might break
know,
him.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't talk
like,
about her.
I still think Cal's being optimistic, but
Don't
That's why I was so scared at WrestleMania when somebody tried to get in the ring and tackle Bret Hart. He's fragile
Hated
now.
that.
Oh, dude,
You know?
that was
What a piece
so
of shit.
fucked up.
horrible.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck
Fuck
Yeah,
you.
no,
Don't
but
listen to our
the first
podcast,
time-
dude.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Kyle, who do you think's worse, the Nasty Boys or the Bushwhackers?
Ugh.
Oh.
I knew that would get that reaction. Where it's like, man, I don't know.
The Nasty Boys, because the Bushwhackers used to be the sheep herders.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's true.
What was
they
your
used to-
thinking, Jeremiah?
They
Well,
used to be
I just
like
think
a
the
badass-
Bushwhackers are the biggest joke team.
Yeah,
in
that's
WWE,
true.
pretty much. I mean, they had that. Remember when they like towards the end when they were trying to make it more interesting by having that like sloppy manager they had? I forget his name. He
They
had, like,
should
a
have done
dirty
Family
sock in his
Matters.
pocket
They
or
know what they're
something.
doing.
Was
They're
it
serious
wasn't
performers.
Eugene, was it?
It wasn't Eugene. It was before that, but it was kind of similar to that whole dork, like really nerd gimmick.
Fuck.
I forget his name,
It's
but
like all right, well.
I can see if I
Yeah.
can track it down.
yeah,
Was
Bushwhacker.
it
Bushwhacker
the
manager.
93 circuit?
Yeah, Bushwhacker manager, which should bring it.
Oh,
up.
Bushwhacker manager.
Yeah.
It was a good. This was a good tag match. I
Is
just
it like
want to add.
Monroe or oh
Something similar to that, maybe. Marvin.
yeah, anyway.
Yeah, well, I just want to add to this tag match
Madison!
that
Madison.
Madison. Is that who it is?
Yep.
Nice.
That sounds right.
Did
Well,
you look
Oh
that
wait,
up,
was
or
it
did it pop in your
Jameson?
head?
Is that what you
No.
mean, Kyle?
Jameson.
Yeah.
Jameson.
It was really messing with my head because I searched Bushwhacker manager, but the first thing that comes up is the Beverly Brothers manager. I'm like, I was about ready to like throw my computer out the window, be like, Google, you used to be smart when I met you. But then I saw down below, it's like, no, Bushwhackers. So yeah, Jameson, Jamamison.
Talk
So
to
it's
me,
not
son.
like the whiskey, but
You guys saw in this match that Bret Hart actually got to deck Jimmy Hart, right? That was
Did he
pretty
what?
cool. He actually decked him.
Oh wow,
in the
I
match.
didn't notice
Yeah.
that. That's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
even after that, he got back and threw the helmet in the ring.
Yeah.
These days, when a manager gets hit, they're down. You
Yeah.
know?
They're down for the rest of the match,
Right.
and if they're
right.
not, they get kicked out.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
So after the tag team titles change hands, next we go to a clip of the Brother Love show. The model Rick Martel sprays Jake in the eyes with his arrogance cologne. And then they show him later at the doctor with his eyes patched shut. They show the clip, the reveal of Jake's milky eyes later on the Brother Love show a month later as well. I remember this. You talk about stuff you remember from being a kid. Another one.
Yeah.
Because I remember being like, damn, they really messed up his eye, you know.
Jake the Snake scared me, even though he was a face at this point.
Right, yeah.
He was so intense.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's something wrong with this guy.
And there
Song and I
was.
were talking about earlier. Snakes are the scariest thing on the planet. So like,
Right.
I was like, yep, sold.
Oh, man. I can understand why people would not like Snake. Well, no, I can understand why people would not like Jake the Snake because of how he acts. I personally love them because I was opposite of you in Song. I actually enjoy Snakes. Before you guys even knew each other, I've been trying to talk Song into like coming to like the park and holding like a
Yeah, I know. Like this guy,
he's
I don't know what this dude problem is. He finds out I hate snakes. He wants to introduce me to snake. He finds
Yep.
out I'm allergic to peanut. He wants to feed me
I had
peanut.
to
I
tell
don't know
people-
what his deal is.
I was like, don't do that shit. We're like, we're gonna put it on him because he's afraid of it. Be like,
No.
no.
Oh, I
I'm
would
gonna
never
freak
do that.
out. It's gonna freak out, and it wants
Yeah.
to bite me constantly.
No, I would
Jake
never.
the Snake.
never-
He did a banger promo where I think it was like something like he was like, in the land of the blind,
Yeah.
a one-eyed
Yes.
man is king.
It was
Everyone
the
knows a man only has 5 senses, but a snake,
Yeah.
a snake has 6.
Yep.
And Rick the Model Martel, you're just gonna have to see what that 6 said. You know, something like that. It was so fucking good.
Snakes
He's
always
so-
do it better in the dark.
Oh yes, snakes
yeah.
always
Which I was
do
for a
it
second, I was like,
better.
is Jake the Snake
the
hitting
dark.
on me? I don't.
Oh, it was so sexual.
Yeah.
He was so
Well,
like
'cause-
the
which
amount
brings
of
up a
pussy
point.
that man must have got.
Well, because here's the thing: because it's pay per view, I feel like they were able to get away with a lot more adult humor to some extent. Correct? Like,
I mean,
I don't think
Isn't
it was
Raw
intentional.
uncut,
Yeah.
uncensored, and all that other unstuff that Raw.
because the Nasty Boys do a stinking pink joke too. I don't know if that was supposed to be kind of a like wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge, but
it was
the-
quick,
these-
but they did do that.
I,
a
you know,
lot
I
of
don't.
innuendo, though, yeah.
I think. I mean, Jake the Snake. His entire thing is like double entendre city.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
the snake, Jake the Snake. They're talking about his wiener. I
well,
mean,
also this
like-
was a time where parents were taking kids to see like Terminator and Aliens and stuff, where there was like some kids. I wasn't. My parents weren't the
you
coolest.
weren't allowed to. Your babysitter just like
It was
Yeah.
funny.
Took him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
funny.
my father, Rob Bartlett, would go without me. He'd hire songs.
Kyle, you and I saw that happen, didn't
Song's legitimate babysitter instincts
we?
kicked
Kicked
in.
right
He was like,
in.
I did not let you watch anything rated R.
He looked so shocked. He was like, "How did you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I was honestly legit though. I felt like I was the only kid in town that never got to see the
Wow.
cool rated R
I
movies.
would
Like, oh,
never.
sounds like fun.
I didn't see my first rated. This isn't that important, but I didn't see my first rated R movie till I was like 13, and it was the 13th Warrior because it
Oh,
had 13 in the name.
I had to hide
remember.
Eddie Murphy Raw under my mattress when I'm in my 20s, and I'm like, what am I doing? My dad found it and got upset, and I'm like, we're adults, Dad.
Throw it out. He made you throw it out.
Still to this day, we can't recommend stuff. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you, dude. It's got sex in it, so I can't tell you to go see it. So what do you want?
So
Gosh, Saw.
So Jake the Snake Roberts versus model Rick Martel, another like I said, remember it vividly.
Yes.
In a blindfold match, which doesn't happen very often. The crowd participation was amazing, and that's what really made this match just different from anything else you see. I'll talk about some cool spots. Let me know, if these are the spots you love. Let me know if anything else stood out.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say it kind of felt like a pantomime to a bit where I love where
it
the
absolutely
booze.
is.
It like that's again like the theater. They've got to bring back the theater to wrestling. Like it's the one. Like it's there with some people with the current stuff, but I just like it needs to feel like the circus. We don't even have the circus anymore.
I always said like wrestling at its best is always a good mix of theater and circus. You know, that's when it's really enjoyable. And this match actually, blindfold match, dumb concept and all that, but the crowd participation just made this match so much more than what it was.
And Jake's psychology is just so amazing. He knew to use it. I'm going to point here. I'm going to point here. And it was just, and hey, you can't leave out, what Rick Model Martel did here either. He's a consummate professional as well, to do the whole like slime ball, like I'm looking here, I'm on the ground on all fours, moving around, trying to get away. He's got my leg type stuff. It was, they were in that situation. Nobody else could have pulled off that match like they did.
I agree. They're honestly, like it was fun to watch. I bet it would have. I know it was better in like when you were live because that kind of match just feeds off the energy of the crowd, and I really do think that like I just agree with both what everybody's saying, where it's like this is something that like I think it could still work now.
Post COVID, of course.
It's interesting. Like a lot of the wrestling dynamic audience has changed, I think.
Yes.
Like there's still kids, but it's also a lot of people our age, like adults in their like late 20s, early 30s, early 40s.
40s, yep.
And 40s, 50s, 70s, and
it is centuries old, honestly.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot more adult fans than there are kid fans, I would say. Maybe this is not something I'm prepared with the numbers or anything like that.
I think it's almost like that Marvel level, because they even kind of cleaned it up in a lot of ways too, where it's all pretty PG, I'd say, for the most part.
Especially at that time, yeah.
Well, that's
PG-13.
That's something that could be said for the greater whole of our culture has been kind of homogenized in general.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hitting the Marvel levels where it's a household name now,
Right.
Well, like I don't want to get too into it, but I mean, look at the Marvel movies where you have like the hottest actors in the world playing the hottest people in their worlds, and no one's having sex. No one is having sex in those movies, and it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But that's not about wrestling.
If speaking of which, if Falcon and Winter Soldier don't hook up, then I'm not tuning in.
Then I'm
sorry. You're telling me
it.
they seem like they're dating, and why would I be like, oh, that's nice. That's good for you, Disney.
So I love when Jake would point and the crowd would lead him towards Martel, and Jake would find the leg and Rick Martel would barely escape. At one point,
Applausometer was weirdly deciding the fate of this match.
Right.
No, I mean when Jake did a fake out clap, and the model. Oh, I love that moment.
Yep. At one point, Martel, he also crawls his way over to Jake's pet Damien in the corner. He's like crawling, he can't see, and he puts his hand on it and realizes it's a snake and jumps back. Martel hits the ring post with a steel chair on the outside at one point. He's thinking he's about to hit Jake. But Jake finally wins this one with a sudden DDT by a pinfall after Jake finds him. After Jake
And this
finds
is yeah, and
Can
this
we-
is like where you can like they really made the DDT look like a very devastating move because it
Thank
took
you,
him
Song.
forever to find him, and he
Right.
still got the 3 count. So, you know, that's it's one of the moves that I think should stay like a finisher. It should be like if it hits, it's done. But it's been done so much
So
by
much.
so many people.
It's used
like,
as a transitional move now.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I completely agree with you, Song. And to that point, Jake's DDT looks fucking deadly.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't want to. I
Looks
wouldn't
like-
want to take it.
No, absolutely not. And
Because he goes
Rick
straight
Martel
down.
sells it. Your face is
Yeah.
into the mat.
Yeah,
There's
because
no
he felt like his face was flat
Yeah.
in the mat.
boom.
These days, when you see it, the DDT is like the head, and then they flip over.
It's
do it
a
like,
somersault. It's a somersault.
Right. Yeah,
You want to talk
exactly.
about my favorite match of the night? That was the one that did it for me because it's like
Yeah.
this is fun. This is
So-
why you
Yeah.
come here.
DDT.
So after
Oh.
the match, we get Damien thrown on Martel, right? Now, this is kind of where, for me, it sucks being an adult because I remember thinking, like, when I was a kid, the snake was, like, so cool. But now it's one of those things where I just, like, this is cool, but it's like, should we call PETA? Or like,
Oh, I was gonna ask, how drugged up do you think that thing is? Because I will
Oh,
say,
Oh.
you know, Jake, he smacks the shit out of him sometimes. Like,
with,
Yeah.
with the Cobra. With
Yeah.
the Cobra.
Oh, that was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
He had
it
a
was the
cobra.
name of the Cobra. He had
Lucifer.
a Cobra. Lucifer. Excuse me. Lucifer.
Yeah, with Macho
And
Man, right?
When he fought Macho
Oh,
Man,
yeah, that's
he
right.
legitimately
Yeah.
had to whack the Cobra a couple times
Yeah.
before it would latch onto Macho Man's arm. No,
Mhm.
I am right there with you,
Well,
Jeremiah.
didn't they
Every time
not
I
tell
see him,
Macho
like-
it was defanged? Didn't he
was
also not
defanged.
know it
Yeah,
was
he
defanged?
didn't.
He didn't know any
He
of
didn't
it was
know.
gonna happen?
He came to. He was like, "Ooh, brother, now tell." I can't do Macho Man, but he was just like, "Tell me, tell me that thing is defanged." And he was just like, and Jake was like, "Oh yeah, man, absolutely, it's defanged." And he was like, "Let it bite you," and he was like, "No."
So, so the
love
whole
Macho.
concept for this blindfold match, anyway, it's something personally I think has not been overdone. So I think it could be cool to see a match like this in the modern era. And I had a question for you guys. In the modern era, who do you guys think could pull this off? Like the whole like a blindfold match situation. Like
I was gonna say,
AJ
who would
Styles.
you guys like to see? Styles
AJ
could.
Styles
see
and
that.
Daniel Bryan would also be someone I could see doing.
Yeah.
Could
Can I?
ah,
Can I
I'd
tell
even
you?
love
my,
to
uh,
see-
Yeah, let me hear yours.
would Bray Wyatt?
I could see all that. I could be.
I
Cool.
mean, he works already pretty much like with a mask on to begin with. I mean, he already knows how to work. Kind of.
Maybe it could be like the Headman's Hood match or something. like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what about if it was Murder Hawk, who's managed by Jake the Snake Roberts, and he fights Cody Rhodes? You know, like some.
Oh, I mean
something
that
like
would be sick.
You know, because then you've got that whole like history with Jake in there with it. Would be sweet.
Yeah, and
Cody
Rhodes
could do
But
it.
he
Yeah.
goes 100% into every
Yeah.
gimmick they give
Right.
him. That guy is one of the hardest worker in this business. It's
I-
it's crazy what
Terrible
he makes work.
tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
incredible
oh
worker.
yeah, but great work. I mean, like, remember they sat on with that Stardust character that he hated? He
He
hated.
did so good. He was like
You couldn't tell he
manic
hate- yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, you couldn't tell he hated that character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, he did not want to play that character, but he was so professional about it that he really sold you on this Stardust character. And I think you're right. I think Cody Rhodes and
Murder
Archer,
Hawk.
Lance Archer, yeah.
Yeah, Lance Archer.
It would be
Yeah.
far too dangerous and it would never phically work, but it'd be awesome if they had Ricochet do
Oh,
a blindfold
God.
match. Have him
Yeah, I
do
think
his
the
flips
high
and
flyer
shit
would be-
blindfolded.
That would be crazy.
It'd be horribly reckless and it would probably not end well, but maybe.
But yeah, that's what it made me think of, is like who could pull it off this current generation. But next we get Marla Maples in, and she's in the men's locker room for a Nasty Boys celebration. You got the Mountie back there. You got Dino Bravo, Earthquake, all of Jimmy's guys. And I didn't see Jericho, but I saw a lot of the Bubbly.
Little
Yeah,
of the
baby,
bubbly.
a little bit of bubbly.
A little bit
Oh,
of the
yeah.
bubbly. After that, we get Jimmy Snuka versus The Undertaker, right? And this is The Undertaker's first WrestleMania appearance. It's the beginning of something kind of big, right? This is
Wait,
prime.
does the Undertaker do something important at WrestleMania?
No. I was talking about kind of big
Jimmy
for Jimmy
Snuka.
Snuka. Yeah.
Paul Bear stabs him, and he
Yeah.
goes on.
It's where he starts wearing
He starts
leopard print.
murdering people.
Oh God.
Oh shit!
You also, I love watching Paul Bear get out there and do his thing.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know that dude must have done some like community theater somewhere where someone was just like,
This is Paul Bear's debut as well. This is the debut
Yeah.
of
Oh, it is his
Percy
intro.
Pringle.
Well, you know he's also a real life embalmer, right? Like he's
oh yeah,
he's taking some real
He
life
was a real life mortician.
mortician.
yeah,
that's right,
but like that dude hams it up so freaking well.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's a dude who had like the theater bug. Like,
yeah, this is a prime
Yeah.
slow Undertaker, right? Methodical Undertaker.
Methodical.
Yeah,
But his ring entrance was faster.
yeah, that's true. This is also an older Jimmy Snuka past his prime when he was jumping from steel cages versus Don Morocco back in the day. During this match, Snuka hangs himself on the ring ropes. I thought that was a really cool, like he pretty much totally misses Undertaker and falls right onto the outside of the ring after he hits the ropes. He comes back in and he does a springboard off the ropes where it looks like Taker was meant to catch Snuka and transition into a tombstone. But then shortly after that, Taker pins Snuka after he successfully tombstones him. That match, you know, it was nothing itself, but a very big
Yeah,
importance,
it was
historically.
Yeah, it was a squash. I think it was about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So it was I guess you would define that as a squash, but it started the streak.
Yeah,
I will
absolutely.
say, Snuka was cut like a diamond. I mean, that dude looked great. He looked he looked incredible shape for that era where you don't see a lot of definement in the ab region.
Mm-hmm.
He was just cut.
Yeah, he's always been a muscular guy. After Undertaker's debut, WrestleMania debut, we get a clip of Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior feud, right? It just kind of outlines everything that they've gone through up until this point to lead to such a serious match to have to put retirement on the line, right? So we go out and we finally get Randy Savage versus Ultimate Warrior again. I mean, I guess we could just say WrestleMania 7 in general is very memorable because I definitely remember this. I remember this being my favorite, some of my favorite Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior tights. Both of them, like the purple and white that Savage had, and I thought that was like his best long tights. Nothing beats the trunks with the stars on them from when he was, back in the day. That's prime Macho Man.
The purple purple and the stars.
Right. As far as long tights goes, the purple with the stars during that retirement match, if I get a Macho Man figure, that's what I want him wearing. You know what I'm saying? And then the Ultimate Warrior thing, one of the very few times he didn't run to the ring, he instead walks. He's got that, like a vest on that's all airbrushed. He takes that off and he's got the, means much more than this with the world title on his, trunks. So I guess he's referencing this being a retire match being more important. So before the match, very important to know as well, they show Elizabeth at ringside.
I love this. I love this because I forgot that we're right in the middle of that story kind of ramping up.
Yeah, the story they told in this match. My God.
Mm-hmm.
Magical.
Yeah. Real quick, would you say there's been a bigger and if one of you says Lana and Lashley, I'm gonna punch you.
The bigger romance in wrestling is that?
I feel like they are kind of the like it couple of
this is
entire
the
wrestling
measuring
history.
stick for,
Of
I mean,
wrestling.
this is the
Yeah,
measuring
the first
stick
couple.
for a storyline like this.
Yeah.
Everything was done right with this whole Warrior and Macho Man feud.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just wow. I watched it. It was like 20 minutes, and 20 minutes went by. It was It was an amazing match, amazing storyline. Both participant. All three
Everybody.
participants counting.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Sherry too.
So Macho,
Well,
Yeah,
that was my
Macho
first
King-
Dark Side episode that I've ever seen. So
Was
I'm like, oh, I'm ready for this
Oh
story.
wow, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Macho King comes out with sensational Sherry. To your point, Kyle, that he's she's in this match as well, and she's a consummate professional. Did you notice at one point Bobby Heenan said, "Is that the Warrior?" Because he said he kind of looked different, and there's all those rumors about how they replaced Warrior with a different Warrior. All this. It didn't really happen, but there was that. I've heard it online where they were saying, there's a Warrior that looked
Urban
different.
legend. Yeah.
Right, urban legend type stuff.
It's like Chappelle,
Yeah.
or
I'm wondering
Undertaker.
if it could have been started by Heenan's comment there. So to me, this match, Warrior versus Hogan at WrestleMania 6, Warrior versus Rude, they're pretty much the best Warrior matches out there. This one and those. I don't think it gets much better than this because a lot of these Warrior matches, like versus Honky Tonk Man, 30 seconds.
Right. He doesn't do many matches that go over 10 minutes, and this one went 20. It's just insane. And 5 elbow drops off the top rope.
I know, yeah. And it might be the first time I ever saw Warrior perform a small package. I don't know.
Well, could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
And it took forever to get the count too, right? Because the ref was distracted.
Oh,
He had
at one
him
point.
hit yeah.
I think
Dude,
Warrior ran the ropes the wrong way at one point as well because he was Savage fell down to the ground.
Well, when the spirit of the Warrior takes over, you can't control where you run.
What's going on.
You just go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Like you said, Savage hits Warrior with 5 elbow drops. After that, Warrior still kicks out. He only gets a 2. The match finally ends when Savage misses Warrior on the outside with double axe handles. Warrior, he then hits Savage with 2 flying tackles, and he covers Savage for a disrespectful pin by just putting his boot on top of this legend's chest. From a standing position. I didn't really like that, but
yeah, that was that's my only gripe with the match was the pin that Warrior did, and then even after the match, it was supposed to be like career versus career. You would think they would have let him show a little bit of respect towards Macho Man, but he kind of just put his foot on him again, go to the top turnbuckle, raise his hand, stuff like that. But overall, they got their point across. The story was told. Very, very well booked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely one of the great WrestleMania matches. I would put it on my list as essential WrestleMania matches for sure.
And only made better. Yeah, only made better when Miss Elizabeth showed up in the ring and saved. Not saved, but stopped Sherry from continuing to kick down her man.
Yep, she stops Sherry from attacking Savage and. Elizabeth saves her man, and they reconcile for one of our feel-good moments of the night when Randy holds the ropes for Elizabeth for once, right?
Yep, and now it's forever. It's kind of like when they show highlights of Macho Man or anything he's done, that's gonna always be in his highlight.
Yep, and that's why those purple and white with silver sparkles. It's iconic, man.
Again, going back to that, just the outfit of both the participants, awesome. When he first came out, the jacket, and then he had the shirt too, and it was all matching with the tassel. It was just dude, this is a superstar. Both
when he lifts the rope, Ferdy, you hear "Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles fly."
Right.
So they had some fans crying. Were those planted?
Good point, man. Who knows?
That's a hard one.
But
I teared up a little.
They.
I got the chills. I mean, they told a story that wasn't
I'm going to say no, that was probably real.
I feel like they were legit.
That's true. It's hard these days to get anybody emotionally invested in a storyline in wrestling. But
plus that could be friends and family too. They could be related.
Right.
They were deep fakes.
What a fantastic overall
early phases.
Yeah. I love that whole Ultimate Warrior and Savage feud was
what
amazing.
a great angle. What a great angle.
Well, the whole thing is I feel like because it's one of the first attempts at doing these sort of love triangle kind of situation things. Not the
And it
earliest,
never
but
been done well again.
yeah. Well, that's the point. Is it something that doesn't work in this, but you're like, damn, this works. Like it's it's the exception that proves the rule. Like
Right.
and the ones that probably don't do it because they saw what it did to the relationship.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our WrestleMania 7 review. As always, thank you so much for listening. Now we want to hear from you. You can hit us up at pinthechamppodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at pinthechamp123, and our Google Voice number is 804-446-1139. We can't wait to hear from you.